Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today I want to give my first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. Now keep in mind this is not a review. This is just my first impressions. Now, first thing, I didn't bother to do no unboxing because there's nothing to unbox. The only thing in the box, some worthless paperwork and a charging cable. No charger in the box, no headphones, and no case. A far cry from the A51, which had all of those things in the box. It had a charger, headphones, and a case in the A51. A52, they still gave you, I believe, a case, but they took away the charger. I mean, no, they took away the headphones in the A52. So they still gave you a case, but they took away the headphones. Now, I might as well mention this now. With this model, of course, it's a slight improvement from the A52, but of course, Samsung has to keep up their they're taking away features from the customers like you and me. They removed the headphone jack. Bad enough, they took away the charger, took away the case, took away the headphones. Now they took away the headphone jack. So I guess the next thing next year for the A series would be no expandable storage. So for you all out there that thinking, oh, I'm just going to keep buying Samsung, they're the best, go ahead. They just keep taking away things from you and giving you less for your money. But I digress. All right. So this phone was released this year in March 2022. This is a mid-range device. And it's unlocked for all your carriers. So whatever carrier that you use, this device will work. And that's one thing that I will give Samsung credit for. When they bring a phone out, it's not restricted to one or two carriers. It's good for all carriers. And just for me, if Xiaomi wants to really stick it to Samsung in the North America, they really need to open up their devices to major carriers in this country, because they would give Samsung serious competition, and it would be great for the consumer because you're going to get a lot more value with Xiaomi, in my opinion. Now, you might like the software of the Samsung a little bit better, but Xiaomi's phones are just overall better, in my opinion. And the reason why I could say that, because I have at least 3 Xiaomi phones right now. I got the Mi 11 Ultra, I got the Redmi Note 11, and I got the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro 5G, and all those phones are absolutely awesome. All right, so let's get back to this phone. Now let's get to the specs real quick, then I'll give you my quick first impressions, and then I will be finished. First, you're getting a 6.5-inch 1080p Super AMOLED 120 Hz display. You're getting 800 nits brightness and 405 pixel density. You're getting Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and a plastic back. Now, the back of this phone is like a frosted plastic, but it can become a fingerprint magnet if your hands are oily, or you can get fingerprints and smudges all over it. So it's not actually, it doesn't really prevent fingerprints, unfortunately. So if you throw a case on there, you don't have to worry about it. You get an IP67 water and dust resistance. That means you could submerge this phone for 3 feet for 30 minutes without suffering any damage. You're getting an in-display fingerprint sensor, face unlock, dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, a 5,000 milliamp battery, 25 watt fast charging, which I shouldn't have even mentioned, but because it has the capability, I have to mention it. But who cares if the charge is not in the box? So just keep that in mind. It does charge 25 watts. Now with the software, you got Android 12 on board and One UI 4.1. Now this device is upgradable to Android 16 because Samsung now, for their newer devices, is giving us 4 years of OS updates as opposed to 3. And I think that's excellent. Now, they should have been doing this years ago. I think they need to up it again to 5 like Apple, because Apple and Samsung, those are the two that's always fighting each other. They're the two that's always going at each other for smartphone supremacy. And if they really want to match Apple, they need to make their phones last, give their phones even longer software support. And I think that would help them. But also start giving people back things for, giving them value for their money also. But once again, I digress. All right, so you're getting 4 years of Android updates and 5 years of security patches with this device. Keep that in mind. Now with the chipset, you're getting the Exynos 1280 with the Mali G98 GPU. This is a mid-range phone. You're getting mid-range specs on this. You are getting expandable storage up to 1 terabyte. Enjoy it while you can. It might not be on next year's model, but we'll see. You're getting 128 gigs of internal storage. That's on this model. Now, there is a 256 gig variant out there, okay, with 6 gigs of RAM and then 8 gigs of RAM. And you can get 128 gigs of internal storage with 8 gigs of RAM. This is the 6 gig RAM variant. And that's what I'll say next. This is has 6 gigs of RAM. You're getting NFC, Bluetooth 5.1, always on display. And when it comes down to the standout features of this device, it's pretty much your typical Samsung feature packed device, such as Samsung Pay, Samsung Pass, Edge panels, Edge lighting, secure folder, dynamic and live wallpapers, Bixby routines, one-handed mode, floating notifications, double tap to wake and sleep the screen, music share, and screen recording. Now, that's not all the features. That's just a good amount of them, but that's not all. There's actually more features than this, but I just mentioned these just to keep it so it's your typical Samsung software, but there's no what do you call that thing? It just slipped my mind. It'll come back to me, but it's something that you get on the flagship that you don't get on this. Keep in mind also, you get no wireless charging on this device and no power share. Now with the cameras, you're getting 64 megapixel wide with optical image stabilization, 12 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. So you're getting 4 lenses on the back. Now, when it comes to video, shoots at 4K at 30 frames per second, no 60, and 1080p at 30 and 60. When it comes to the selfie camera, you got a 32 megapixel wide that shoots at 4K at 30 frames per second and 1080p at 30 frames per second. So the things that are missing, no wireless charging and no headphone jack. Now, of course, I didn't expect it to come with a Quad HD display, but I digress once again. So let's take a quick look at the device. As you can see, I got the black variant. Now, I will say this actually looks better when it comes to design. It actually looks better than the A52. Sorry about that. The effect with the video. This actually looks better as far as design-wise than the A52, but not that much different. Just, you get this rounded off little hump, and the cameras just look a little bit better. But it does feel good, as far as the build quality feels nice. You got that always on display. You got your fingerprint sensor right here. That can be a bit slow, but that's to be expected. Here you got your Super AMOLED display, 800 nits brightness. Don't get all that bright, but I guess for the average person, this will be more than bright. I like my phone super bright. I have this on max brightness, and it's just not really bright. Now, if you're outside, you're going to have a hard time seeing in direct sunlight with this device, just to keep that in mind, okay? All right. You got all your buttons on the right side. You got your power button here, your volume rockers here. You got a microphone at the top. You got your USB Type-C port, your speaker, SIM slot down here. And that's pretty much it. Dual stereo speakers, if I failed to mention that. This does have dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos. So that's a good thing as well. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not all that impressed with this phone, only because right now I find this phone to be really laggy. And the A52 was not laggy at all. Like the A51 that I had, that was terrible. That was really, really laggy. But I find this one to be laggy too. Sometimes it runs real smooth with the 120 hertz refresh rate, and sometimes everything is just delayed. And it's real frustrating for me because I'm used to phones that don't run like this. But I also have a Redmi Note 11 Pro that I'm going to compare to this phone. And I'm already telling you now, it's going to destroy this phone. I mean, absolutely obliterate this phone. Seriously. So I cannot wait to do a comparison with that device. But that was just my quick impressions. I'm just really not all that impressed with this device, honestly. The display is really beautiful. Of course, Samsung made great displays. Everybody knows that. And the speakers on here are really good. They sound very good. The build quality is nice, even though it's plastic, but that'll be good for somebody that, has issues with dropping their phone. So it'll be a durable phone for those who have the drop season. For those that don't like using cases, you don't have to worry about shattering the back of your phone because it has a plastic back. And you got Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, which should be really good for, avoiding keeping your phone from dealing with scratches. Because Gorilla Glass really is very effective against scratches. Gorilla Glass 6, not too much, but Gorilla Glass 5 is very good when it comes to resisting scratches. So my first impression is that it's okay. You got that big giant battery in there, 5,000 milliamps. I don't know how good it is yet. It's still learning me. So give me about a week or so. I'll do my full review, take some photos, videos, things like that. Put the phone through its paces. Then I'll get back to you guys and let you know, how the phone is. But right now, it's okay. That's all I can say. The Redmi Note 11 is a way better phone, but unfortunately, it's not available for all carriers. So that's the only thing that hurts that phone. But it's a much better phone than this. But if I had to tell you right now, if you have the A52 or A51 to upgrade to this, I would say no. I would say get the A52, not the A51, and definitely not the A53 right now. I would tell you to get the A52. I had absolutely no issues with that device, and it ran like a champ. I mean, I was really impressed with it. But so far, this is just okay. But I'll get back to you in a week or so and let you know. All right? All right, so thank you for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Please smash that thumbs up if you like this content, and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to see more content like this. All right, I hope everybody out there is staying safe and staying well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.